All right, Kelly, take it away.
Welcome everybody to today's Monday noon Zoom Fortuna Chamber meeting. At this time, Mike has agreed to lead us in the pledge today.
Thank you. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. New members and guests.
Well, we have our new member, Life Care Humboldt. Yay, Dr. Lindsay. Hi.
Welcome.
I have a guest with me.
Do
Kim Brown. I do. I have Kim Brown, the new broker of Cornerstone Realty.
Yay. Thank you for joining, and thank you for joining us, Kim.
Hi.
Hi. And I think that's it for members and guests. So Renee, announcements?
Yes, I have quite a few, so bear with me. So this Wednesday at 12:30, we're going to do a ribbon cutting for Accurate Termite, welcoming them to their new location at 703 Main Street. So if you're around town at 12:30 and you want to get in the photo, come on down. Let's see, the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, that is for live venues, movie theaters, etc. That portal is supposed to reopen today. They had a bunch of technical glitches, which hopefully they fixed. You do need to be registered with the at sam.gov, which is the system something accounting management. Is that right, Michelle? I can't remember what that acronym stands for. Anyway, it's for federal to get federal support. So it's relatively painless, but make sure you're signed up for that before you try signing in for one of those grants. Also, the Restaurant Revitalization Fund will open potentially by the end of this week. So keep an eye out for an email from us. We'll update everybody on that. The final round of the California Relief Grants opens this Wednesday. If you have not applied in any of the previous rounds, this is your last chance to do that. There are grants up to $25,000. Operation Celebrate is getting ready to kick off. This is what we did last year to help celebrate our graduating seniors. We had a business window decorating contest with a public vote on favorite windows. So we're going to do that again. If we have not already reached out to you for being a past participant and you're a new participant, at the office, we have 254 graduating seniors, so we need a lot more windows this year than we did last year. So give us a call. We'd love to have as many businesses in town decorated for our seniors. You'll need to have them decorated by May 17th and then keep them up through graduation, which it looks like the last graduation date is looks like Fortuna High and East High graduate on May 28th. So we'll probably have windows up until the first week in June. Next Monday, we welcome Redwoods Rural Health Center as our featured speaker. They will talk about their new location here in Fortuna. And then finally, board nominations for our upcoming election period for the Chamber Board of Directors will be going out in the mail this week to all active members. We have 3 candidates, including one who is here with us, Kimberly Brown from Cornerstone Realty. We also have Kristen Chambers from Sequoia Gas Company and Amber Woodward from AP Property Management. So we'll get those board ballots out in the mail. You can also fill it out online. There'll be a link in the letter, so keep an eye out for that. And with that, I will turn it back to Kelly.
Thank you, Renee. Do we have any announcements from any of our members today?
Of course, you always get one from me. Humboldt Sponsors is doing a blood drive this Wednesday at the blood bank from 4 to 7. And but you can go in anytime during that day and mention Humboldt Sponsors. And if you don't want to drive to Eureka, the blood mobile will be out at Hydesville Church and at the same day from 12 to 6. So you can go there and still mention Humboldt Sponsors. We're just trying to get the word out so people will go and donate. They're really in need of blood right now, especially O. And they'll take any of your blood. So anyway, we love sponsoring it and partnering with our community. So I'm hoping that, get the word out, pass it on, and that is happening. That's all.
Thank you, Becky.
Becky, do you also have an online auction going on right now for your
Oh,
furniture?
we certainly do. You can, it ends tonight at 8 p.m. Got lots going on in April. So it's on the Carl Johnson Company website, their auction site, and you can go on and the bidding ends at 8. And this is all wonderfully gently used, fun furniture and home decor that's been donated from the community that unfortunately has had to be sitting in storage for the last year because we couldn't have our annual huge rummage sale in October. So anyway, it's kind of fun. There's 57 items. So if you go on, there's got to be something that you can't live without. So check it out. It's just another way of making some funds that we can turn around and give to the kids in the community. So we're trying our best to kind of pivot with all the changes too. So anyway, but thanks Renee for reminding me. It's been kind of a whirlwind the last few days of doing that, the blood drive and all. So Humboldt Sponsors is still out there.
Yeah, I did. I perused your selection, and there's some. It's beautiful. That
Yeah,
one
there's
desk, and that's
Yeah.
super heavy. I have no idea how I would collect it, but it's gorgeous.
oh well, yeah.
We can put it on top of your car or something.
And then it would dent. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Oh, hey, look, Melissa, it's your cat that won the skateboard.
Oh,
That is the
Don't
infamous
say the
cat.
name. Don't say the name.
There's a story behind that cat's name, but anyway, he was the official winner of a skateboard package.
Yeah, he's here all the time.
Hello, little kitty. Anyway, sorry, I digress. I see an animal and I get excited.
Do we have any other announcements today? No? All right. Well, then I'll go ahead and introduce our featured speaker, Dr. Ann Lindsay, President, Life Care Humboldt. Welcome, Ann. Thank you for joining.
Great. Before I was president of Life Care Humboldt, I was Humboldt County Health Officer for 18 years, and I'm glad I'm not. It actually is my son-in-law is the health officer. We kept it in the family. And I was family practice physician with my husband, Alan Glasser, up in Arcata. We had a practice for 28 years. And then we did a stint for 6 years at Stanford and working, setting up a clinic for Stanford employees and their dependent and Medicare recipients who had complex chronic health conditions. And we learned a lot about care coordination and navigation there. But I couldn't stand being away from Humboldt County, so I came back home. I'm going to share my screen. I've actually talked to both of the Rotaries in Fortuna, and so some of you heard this before, but let's see. No, I'll have to look. I don't want to share that. I got to find the PowerPoint. There we go. Can you see a slideshow?
Yes.
Good. Okay.
Good job.
And I really value being able to talk to people in Fortuna because, as Mike pointed out, often the north and the south parts of the county don't meet. And, as health officer, I got to go all around and to the east and the south and the north, and I really miss that connection. And I'm going to be talking about a need for Humboldt County as a whole. And I know I really value Fortuna. You guys take care of a lot of things on your own, but there's certain issues that are county-wide. And one is that the Humboldt County Housing Plan has identified the growing population of elders to be the #1 housing challenge facing Humboldt County in the coming years. And we actually have had a market study done to see if there's enough seniors to support the kind of community that we're proposing, and they said that senior population is going to grow for the next 25 or 30 years. So, and the county is behind on the number of housing units that are being built. And I don't know if any of you've had, family or friends are looking for houses to buy these, but it's really, really a tight market. So we're proposing a life plan community. And basically will offer a continuum of living situations for residents all in one location or on one campus. And currently, to get this kind of experience, you have to move a lot farther than from Fortuna to northern part of the county. That people move to Medford or Santa Rosa or beyond, leaving all their connections and their community behind. And it's really and their resources actually. And it's sad when, I don't know if you've had experience with people leaving for care. And when we started this organizing, we did what's called human-centered design research. So we interviewed 14 people for 2 hours about aging. And a lot of them were comfortable about talking about their parents or other people that they knew. But when it came to them, many of them hadn't or didn't really want to think about it. But if I say that the common theme was what I call the Niagara Falls approach. And if you can see my hand, they go, everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. And then you exit, just dropping off the falls. And unfortunately, it's not always like that. People often, most of the people had some kind of a vague plan that they might be able to find a caregiver to move in with them. And as in my experience of family practice, this works sometimes, and there's some real angels who do home care, but it can be really challenging. It's finding somebody you trust and that you get along with, and that has the skills and that get along with you. I guess that's a big point, and has skills that you need. And family members may live far away or may be busy. My in-laws moved into our back house from away. And we were able to nurture my mother-in-law to her grave at home. And then my father-in-law lived another 10 years. And it got to the point where he needed somebody to be with him during the day. And my husband and I were both working. And even in this ideal setting, he had to move into assisted living, which worked out well for him. But the plan of having us take care of them just couldn't happen. Caregiver costs between $15 and $30 an hour. So if you need 24-hour care, it can quickly escalate into over $20,000 a month. We're fortunate to have a number of assisted living and skilled nursing, and there's actually in Fortuna, there's senior housing. And but we don't at this point have anything that's integrated like we're proposing as a life plan community. The assisted living in Humboldt County range from $3,000 to $6,000 a month, and the skilled nursing, which is not the most ideal place to be, but if you get transferred from hospital to skilled nursing, you get your insurance, your Medicare will pay for the first, I think it's 60 days, but if you have to stay there beyond that, you pay cash until you don't have any, $10,000 a month until you don't have cash anymore, and then Medi-Cal kicks in. So we've, as I said at the beginning of this, we're actually still looking at a site in Fortuna, but we've looked at 15 sites from Scotia to McKinleyville and evaluated them. Fortunately, we have some experienced planners on our board, and the two that seemed most appropriate for our needs, both in terms of size of approximately 15-acre size and reasonable closeness to town, was one at the evolving McKinleyville Town Center, which is owned by Ann Pearson, and there's 47 acres there, and there's a lengthy community process going on now to see what kind of development should happen there, and that will involve a change in the zoning ordinances and all of that. The other property that fell to the top of our search is owned by Danco or Dan Johnson in Arcata, and you may have seen it in the news as the Creekside Homes property. It was recently annexed to the city, which is important. And Dan Johnson has done a lot of the lengthy pre-zoning to establish the same kind of community with senior housing, assisted living, and memory care. But he feels that as a for-profit venture that maybe not, the market's not there, but he's very impressed with the organization that we've built and the kind of support that we've have shown for what the type of facility and community or campus that we're planning to build. So we have done a feasibility study. It started in 2019. We just had another one done by our consultant, and really can support a community of some size. We may not build all fully out to 150 independent living units, 36 assisted living, and 24 memory care, but we may, if we get to that, we may have to build in phases, but that this community could really support it. So we're in a life plan community. The idea is you move in and you won't have to move out of the community again unless, or if you or your partners need more care. And so, and they used to be called, life plan communities used to be called continuing care retirement communities. And I know you guys look mostly pretty young, but those of us who retired from our regular jobs find that it's not really retiring from life, it's entering another phase. And really that's sort of the concept that the baby boomers are bringing into aging. And so that people might consider moving into a life plan community when they're young, to live with support and social connections, and just to be closer to friends. And actually, as my work as a family practitioner, I had a number of my patients, and my patients got older as I got older, and I had a number of patients who were homebound, and I'd make home visits, and their friends couldn't drive or had died, and they couldn't drive, and their family was away, and they had caretakers come take care of them, but they weren't really people that knew them. And it was got to be a fairly lonely situation, which is one of the drivers for why I'm, even though I have family in this area, I really am trying to make a community like this form, because I think it's someplace that would be fun and interesting to age. So life care communities tend to be really active communities, and the activities are generated by the residents. And I think this is one of the differences between our nonprofit model and the current assisted living. And I first visited the Life Plan community in 1973 in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. It was a Quaker facility, and it looked like a college campus, and there were, beautiful cottages and a string quartet playing and a poetry reading happening. And I go, oh man, this is someplace I'd really like to be, but I wasn't old enough at that time. So I went back 2 years ago to visit that same community to see if it still held charm. And I met a woman who was 85 years old who was a master weaver. And she had, speaking of generating the activities, she had set up a weaving studio, and there were 40 looms there. And there were some weavers who were really quite adept and skilled, and there were others who were beginners. So in our senior years, you can still learn things and grow and share our skills. And you stay connected. We're going to be make it a place that's welcoming to friends and families, and but you don't have to worry about maintaining a home or hiring help when needed. And this came really, actually my husband and I now have a mantra when it's like, just call maintenance. We had in one of those terrible rainstorms, our roof started to leak. And he can't get on ladder, so I had to go up to the crawl space and find the leak, and then go outside in the pouring rain and see where it was. And I go, if we were in Life Care Humboldt, I could just call maintenance. It's like, and a lot of us have big, lovely yards and 3-bedroom homes that we don't really need. And it would be better to have us move into this community and open up those homes for families again. So life plan communities are homes, and not just, rooms. And ours won't look like this, but you can see they have a kitchen and access to the outdoors, and are lovely places actually. Recreation and classes are built in, and we're actually made a partner, or forging a partnership with OLLI, with the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at HSU, that really sets up hundreds of classes for seniors, and they think that our residents will be the natural faculty for it and also will attend it. And so that's great. And we're also looking to partner with other community organizations. Meals will be provided, and actually that we're, if we get our way, we're going to have a 3 or 4 acre farm, so that the meals will be right direct farm from table. And we can hire a farm, like Mad River Hospital hired a farmer and canceled the food service, and they serve really great food right from their backyard. This particular dining room is from Willamette View in Portland, and it's a gorgeous facility. And they, so I was happy to have a picture of their dining room. Usually, when you live in independent living in a cottage or an apartment, then you'd get 1 meal a day in the facility, and people with assisted living or memory care would get 3 meals a day. And I just want to say a word about our memory care. I think we also have something that would be unique for Humboldt County. We're planning on having what's called a small house or greenhouse model. So rather than having an institutional model for people with memory issues, it's a home. It's a 10 or 12 bedroom home, and every resident would have your own bedroom and bathroom, but there's a common living area and kitchen. And there'd be staff there who basically, work with the residents to prepare the meals and run the household. And it's a very home-like setting. Residents are allowed to come and go to the outdoors. And you really develop a personal relationship with the people there, or the caretakers develop a personal relationship with you because it's so small and intimate, and you're not like somebody in room 17 to the people who work there. That kind of facility has also done really well in COVID. There's very low transmission infection rates because of the accountability of the staff to the people there. They were super careful outside. We'll get some degree of medical management, and we have formed a committee, a medical healthcare planning committee, and I'll show you in a moment who's on it. But at least a lot of times people from here go out of the area for specialty care, and we think that it would be a great model to have care coordination so that you can help people get to the right place on time and with all the information that's needed so that you have a productive visit there, and that all the health information that gets generated there gets back to your providers here. We'll be providing transportation, and I'm looking forward, frankly, to having a van pick me up and bring me up to HSU for the Center Arts, drop me off at the door, and also social activities. And so these gentlemen are having a happy hour. So the way Life Plan Community work, there are different models, but basically you pay an entry fee. And we're and the entry fee is generally pegged at what the home values are in a community. So in a way, you're turning your home in and buying into a community with that for security and company and really relatively stabilized costs over the years, and your family don't have to worry about what's going to happen if you have sudden change in health. Somebody will take care of it. But we estimate that fees could start at $250,000 and average $460,000, and a second person adds $10,000 to it. And I do, in full disclosure, some established communities are less expensive because it costs money, especially construction costs are going up these days. So actually, if you do pay a higher fee on entry, up to 80% of the entry fee be returned to your estate. So it's, a lot of older people say, well, they want to keep their house for their kids. And I've had a couple of my friends ask, I say, tell me that. And I said, well, talk to your kids and see, do they want your house or do they want you to be secure? And so it's a conversation that we need to have that a lot of people don't. They just keep putting it off. So Maggie Banducci, who's is working with Life Care Humboldt, had 5 people fill out a cost, what the costs are to live at home, and we actually have a link on our website to doing this. And it ranged from $1,525 for a single person renter with no utility bills, and that is like a super nice rental situation, all the way to $4,500 for a couple homeowners with a mortgage. And so we this is all subject to further revision, but we're hoping that our entry fees will start at $2,200 a month and average $4,800 a month. Excuse me, the monthly fees. The fees are based on the size of the unit, the cottage or the living unit. So a smaller unit, you pay less money. And a second family member would add $1,000. And the fees cover, rent, utilities, cable, internet, meals, transportation, home maintenance. You get to call somebody when your roof leaks or, whatever. Emergency aid, so somebody's there if something happens in the middle of the night, they're there to help you out. Fitness membership, classes, security system, and also tech assistance. I didn't add that on, but that's really important for us. And so this is really exciting. We're in the startup phase. We have a chance to design a life plan community here that will really reflect Humboldt County history and needs. They're making a big effort to get out and talk to people and get people to give us input as to what kind of community what would it take to have you move in. And you actually can go on our website and fill out a design survey, and it's not too lengthy, but then you can add in what you want, but really to let us know what amenities you'd like, what kind of size house you might think of living in. And it's going to be really important we can feed that back to the architects. And also we're going to have a design charrette. So we're going to invite people to, give feedback as to different models. So we really want to make it a participatory process. These are our values: independence, and you can still be in a community, have your privacy, but have the community when you want it and need it. Lifelong learning, culture, wellness, fun and generosity, inclusiveness, healthful lifestyle, personal and financial security, and environmental sustainability. So here's our leadership, and Patty on our board was Patty Berg, was one of the founders of Area 1 Agency on Aging, served as our assembly member for a number of years, and then is now retired and working with us. Mark Chatton was the tech director of Redwood Capital Bank. Kirk Gerard was the director of planning in Humboldt County for a while. Pat Gersey was is retired, but she was the dean of health occupations at College of the Redwoods and quite involved with the HSU nursing program. Greg Orsini was the director of the Community Services District in McKinleyville, so he knows a lot about infrastructure, and he's also retired. Joanne Schuch, she's spent a lot of time down in Fortuna because she works with and one of the founders of Redwood Coast Village, the volunteer organization to support seniors in their home. George Williamson has planning business in Arcata, the Plans West. And Joyce Hayes is known to all of you and recently joined our board. We're delighted. She was director of the Senior Resource Center and quite involved in your community and has a place in Hydesville. We have a number of volunteers from the community, and I'm not going to read all the names, but you probably recognize some of them. And then we have a healthcare planning group with Alan Glasseroff, MD Jennifer Heidemann, who's the director of the PACE program, and you're fortunate enough to have a PACE program now in Fortuna, where take people who would otherwise be eligible for or fit the criteria for skilled nursing and do whatever you can to keep them home. Glenn Siegfried is emergency room physician at Redwood Memorial. Tim Haskett is a nurse practitioner with the PACE program. Allison Palacios is a family practitioner in Arcata, and Beth Abels is internist in Eureka. So we're all, we are not planning to provide direct medical care, but we're likely going to have a telehealth, a video conferencing center with assistants there, because fortunately, one of the good things of COVID, I think, is that you don't have to go to the physician all the time. And then we're also foster wellness and also people with chronic health conditions. We can get them engaged with self-help or support groups. So we're working on a model to make entry fee and monthly fees affordable for mid-income seniors. Some communities have a companion foundation to offer financial assistance, and this is something we talk about a lot. I think we have to get going first, but that'd be nice to support people who worked in the arts or theater and service jobs and haven't accumulated assets to join. And we're going to need to raise or borrow $8 million to get ready for the low interest bonds. We have an initial fundraising goal of $300,000 we started March 1st, and we're already up to $208,000. So that was our 6-month goal. We'll be looking for community investors and grants, and if we can get several $1 million together on our own, that would really cut down our expenses of borrowing money along the way, because that's really a big driver to the overall cost of the project. So this is good for individuals. It's also good for Humboldt. So even if you don't think you're going to enter right away, you might consider completing the design survey and signing up for our newsletter and making a donation, because it's going to provide accessible, secure homes for seniors and support them as they age. It'll open up housing stock for the rest of the community and provide good jobs and keep valued and love people close to their friends and family. And actually, it's going to be some people in their 40s and 50s find that their parents moving up wherever they are from, up to Humboldt County. And this is will provide another option for them. So on our website, you can see who supports us. You can sign up for updates. You can complete the design survey, and please do. We've had 327 completed to date, but the more the merrier. We have a list of frequently asked questions, but if something comes up and there's a question you don't see answered there, please, there's a way to email us. Tell your friends and family, host a house party, which Denise has done, where you invite friends to have a 1-hour Zoom session and learn about Life Care Humboldt. And that is the end of my PowerPoint, but I see a chat. If that's a question. Oh, Michelle had to leave. But now, depending on your agenda, we have time to for questions or comments, or you think this is something that we need.
I have a question. Is the I know that pricing and different stuff hasn't been figured out yet, but will there be like a sliding scale, or will it?
Yeah, there will be lower fee for a smaller unit. So, and we're planning some more apartment-like units or some small cottages all the way up to 1,600 square feet with 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and a den.
Oh.
So, that's one way which you can economize. And secondly, a second person is only a $10,000 additional. So, family style is more economical. And then, that would be our dream, Kelly. And if we hit the jackpot on the funding, we'll certainly have some. Our long-term goal is to have a way of giving financial assistance to people. Basically, when you enter a community like this, you get your finances and your health are audited to make sure that you're a good fit. And based on your actuarial tables, are going to have your income and assets going to last long enough. Because once you're in, you don't get thrown out.
Gotcha.
So then, if someone is in it, for a long time, let's say they join the community at a younger age, and as they get older, then they need more care. And then if their funds run out for some reason, do you then just start billing Medi-Cal like a regular skilled nursing facility would? Like, how does that work so that you don't have to evict people? I don't know how else to put it.
You won't get thrown out, we're actually not building a specific skilled nursing. The trend in the country is to provide services outside, just like the PACE program does. And we've actually talked to the PACE program about partnering, and because there isn't anything in northern Humboldt, at this point. And they said we could do a PACE light and do whatever it takes to keep people out of skilled nursing, because really think that people belong in a community. And you know, I'm looking forward, if I have to be in a memory unit, then the people I know from the independent living will be right there, and we can eat together and sit on the porch together and, you know, socialize and keep me connected. So yeah, you won't get thrown out, but there is and I don't know the specifics, but I've learned about and talked to people from, you know, all over the country who run these things, and there is a way of, you know, an entry audit of your finances. Make sure you would expect you to have enough.
So then the monthly fee is on top of the entry fee. Did I understand that correctly? Or does that entry fee go towards your monthly rent?
That there is a monthly fee on top of it, and it is like rent, but it's like super rent. And basically, somebody with $45,000 income could afford a $2,800 a month fee, and we figured it's 60% of your income, and then so that leaves 40% of your income for other things. But yeah, it is an ongoing. You know, it's not particularly, there are some communities that set up like rent, but we're talking it as just a monthly fee.
And then what is the minimum age of a resident in some of these other communities?
60.
Okay.
Some say 55, but 60, I think, is what we have in our bylaws.
And what's
the average age of people is 75, actually, tell you the truth.
And what are the next steps for you in Humboldt? I know you're looking at some plots of land. Obviously, purchasing land is probably the first step, but beyond that.
Right. We need to grow our base, and right now, based on our initial research, we have to talk to people about aging. You know, this isn't something that's on people's radar because there isn't a local option. So we're going to continue to do that educational effort. We need to find, you know, make a deal, a property deal that fits the finances and set the, you know, work with, we've hired a nationally known company called Greenbrier who develops life plan communities and has California experience. And they'll be working with us to you know, make the financial projections and help us obtain we have to do some more local fundraising as well as, you know, borrow investment funds and, you know, they're fairly high interest to start. And then you ultimately get to a certain point where you have a good business model. We're going to be asking people to, you know, pay a refundable money to get on a waiting list, and we don't have one now, but that'll show the funders that we have enough interest, and so then we have to get our bonds and build it and fill it. Yeah.
Hi, Ann.
I think I really think we can do this. It seemed far-fetched when I started, but it's falling in place. We have 700 people on our mailing list, and I encourage you to join it because that also shows investors that there is a base here that can support this. So Kelly, did you have a question or a comment?
I was just going to ask another question about so the initial audit, and then you stated that nobody would necessarily be evicted or kicked out. How does the ongoing audit of finances or control happen to ensure that there's still money? Like, you know, you don't have somebody in a place that decides to just gift a family member or make a big donation and all of a sudden finds themselves in a situation where they can't make those dues.
There'll be staff that talk to people about their finances. You know, when somebody's experienced an unforeseen challenge, then you know, they work with that, and it's part of in our ongoing budget. A certain percentage, you think you'll have to carry people. You know, just try to keep that down, but it'll be built into the financial model.
Thank you.
Denise, did you have a question or comment?
Hi, Ann. I was just, maybe you brought this up It doesn't appear that this is for a lower income type of client, correct?
What's that?
Can you
Is
can
this
you
for
guys hear
a
me?
low income community?
A
No,
low
not-
income type of client?
A low income what? I'm having a hard time here.
Clients.
Oh, clients, what about it? This is not specifically for low income, although, you know, one of our business plan might be to develop some low income housing on the property as well, because there are different funding streams for that. But we're meeting a need that's not being met at all in Humboldt County. And certainly we need more low income housing. And there is a fair amount that's being built, and Danco is one of the companies that's really adept at getting the right funds to do that. And so there's new going on. I believe there's some in Fortuna, and there's some in Eureka, and there's some in Arcata, and there's some, you know, out in Samoa is a huge low income property. So we're looking to the mid and upper income. You know, and I really think it's the mid income. The upper income people might be able to afford hiring somebody to live at home, which my looking into the future is not an ideal thing for me, but mid income, it's really hard. So that's our goal, to make it accessible to the mid and upper income. Mike, you're shaking your head, you're nodding, but as a leader of the community, you have any comments or reactions?
Well, I was just thinking of my own mother and taking care of her. She stayed in a single family home by herself with some in and out assistance and family help until she was 93, I think, or 92. But it's always a challenge because you worry when you're not there. She wanted to maintain her independence, and it's a struggle back and forth. You're pulled in two directions. This looks like you could have some of your independence as much as you could do, and still be. I mean, I can see the positives in this. And you are right. Danco has done, I believe, 4 projects here in Fortuna. So we have been working with them on some low-income housing, but nothing like this. This is a totally different program, but I can see a place for it. So thank you.
Okay. You might consider, if we don't find the Fortuna property, maybe you consider coming north at once in a while.
As soon as we're done with this, I was going to look at your website and see about getting on the mailing list.
Okay, great. You know, because it seems like a long way from, I mean, if you live here, it seems like a long way from Fortuna to Arcata, but if the alternative is 200 miles away, it makes us feel a little more cohesive as a community. Closer values to Fortuna and Eureka and Arcata than there are for Fortuna, Eureka, Arcata, and Santa Rosa, I'd say.
Well, and I think the community aspect is so important, and I know we saw that with COVID, with our senior citizens, and you know, just being isolated. So it's the community aspect is really fascinating. I think that's great.
Well, you know, Renee, that's a good point. We all have had experience of what it's like being isolated in our homes now because of COVID. And I think you can fast forward, and if you can't drive and get out at all, what's it going to be like? And the nice thing about starting up a community now is we can build with all the lessons that have been learned about in COVID and infection control. And like one of the possibilities is having like a little pod of houses so that you know, you don't have to isolate in your own little unit, but there's, you know, you can have a safe, you know, 3 or 4 units that you'd interact with if there were same kind of pandemic type situation. So I'm excited about some of the innovations that have been done, and we've hired a architect firm, Perkins Eastman, that's done a lot of work in that field. So I'm excited about that too. Great. Thanks for bringing up COVID.
Sorry. It's almost, we're
I've
almost,
forgotten about it for a few minutes.
there's light at the tunnel, at the end of the tunnel, I swear.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. Okay,
We
final,
heard from
final.
everybody. Melissa, any questions?
No, my parents are too young right now. I don't need to worry about that. And yeah, no, I'm just taking it all in and making sure that my kids know how to take care of me when I get old.
Great. Good. Well, thank you.
Any other questions? Well, if not, then I want to thank you very much for joining our call today and providing us that information. Super enlightening and exciting too. Very exciting. So with that, thank you everybody for joining us today, and we'll see you next Monday at noon with Redwoods Rural.
Hi, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.